So what do? Once you have the idea, whatever it is that has given me the energy to write, then what I will generally do is to write the middle part, the substance, of the article. Where you take your arguments through from one logical step to the next. This is the guts of the article. If you ever go and do a master's thesis or you do a major thesis as part of your undergraduate degree, you'll do the same kind of thing as well. You'll have an introductory chapter to your methodology of your approach, and then there'll be the guts of your thesis, your major paper, which is really the solid part where you do your original thinking and writing and all that. And then there'll be an introduction where you bring it all together. A newspaper article, in a very small form, is like that. It has an introduction, which I'll talk about. It has the guts of the thing. And the guts of the thing, of course, is where the substance is. And you've got to make sure that the substance is solid, that it is connected, interconnected, that it doesn't jump from one thing completely to something, unconnected. There has to be a logical flow of arguments that when a person reads one paragraph, he's encouraged to read the next and the next and the next until he gets to the end. And I'm talking here, of course, about a one full-page article. A normal full-page article with there's an advertisement on a corner, there's a picture usually in the middle, and then the rest of it is text. It'd be quite amazing. Do a survey out there, find out when was the last time your university student colleagues ever read a one-page article. Very interesting, you'll find. How few people even bother? Forget about them asking them, do you read a newspaper? That's another separate question. After they've said, yes, I do read the newspaper, have you read this full-page article? They might read the section on Bollywood and Hollywood and all the rest of it, but have they read that serious article in the middle of the page? Page 7 or page 11 or whatever. Okay, C. What's the next step? After you've written the middle section, I make sure that every different part of that middle section has got a subtitle. Why do I say that? Quite often, readers like to just look at a page, see the subtitles, and think about what the big story is. So if you like, I have an article in here on page 176, right, which is about population, the population trends. And of course, in Fiji, the ethnic population is a big issue. For decades, Fijians have worried about Indo-Fijians, dominating them in population, outvoting them in elections, and running government and all that, right? Well, about 96, 97, I looked at the population figures from the census. I did projections, and I said, look, you're actually in a process of transition in Fiji where the Indo-Fijian population is steadily going to go down. The indigenous Fijian population is still going to go up. There was a little graph that I put in there, in my article, which shows you that this period over here, where Indo-Fijians were more than Fijians, were just a small little two decades, and that's all gone now from 76 onwards, and the gap's going to go wider. And what did the title sort of say? Population growth is usually a time bomb. World over, everybody has been worried about population time bomb. But I said population growth is usually a time bomb. Subtitle says, but not so in Fiji. Once Indo-Fijians did dominate, right, serious decline in Indo-Fijian numbers because of population, lower fertility and migration, even more younger Fijians. And my last bit over there was also about how this should diffuse the ethnic struggle for resources and all that. But what is the idea of the subtitle? The idea of the subtitle is that somebody can just read the subtitles and know the full story. After I've done the subtitles, then I write the introductory first few paragraphs. Now, there are different ways of writing the first few paragraphs, different ways to challenge and to excite. Sometimes what I do is, because the findings are so dramatic, right, you want to tell the reader what is it that you're going to talk about in the article. So I even put in a quick summary and the conclusion, just to say, this is what I'm saying now, go on and read more. Sometimes when it's self-explanatory actually, and people might want to read because they feel the other way is important, I'll express my introduction as questions, as challenges, so that you don't tell them what you're concluding, but you're telling them, well, is this what is going to happen? Is this the right case or so? So you've got to think about, well, what is the way, given the content of your article, what is the best way to write the introduction? But the introduction has to be such that it gives, if you like, a map, an outline about what else you're going to write in the whole article. And the idea is you grab their interest and you keep their interest and you make sure that they read the rest. That's the introduction, the first 2-3 paragraphs. You go through all my articles and you'll find that that's what I do in all my articles. First 2 or 3 paragraphs, I'll have a guideline, outline, sometimes conclusion, sometimes key questions challenging. Right? Then I write the last paragraphs, the conclusion. It's like writing a thesis, but except in a mini form for the ordinary reader. Right? And in the last paragraphs, I give the conclusion sometimes, I give recommendations. If it's a policy matter, I say this is what government should be doing, etc., etc. Sometimes I end up again with questions, where I challenge, for example, the public apathy towards the creation of a super monopoly. When government created this telecom monopoly, in 1998. I knew it was going to be disastrous for Fiji, and it has been disastrous for Fiji for the last 10 years, right? And I question them, is the public going to do anything about it, or are they going to be apathetic? And of course, what the reality has showed me, in fact, that they were quite apathetic. They couldn't care less, even though it has wrecked, an industry in the last 10 years. Next step, after I've written the whole thing, then I think very hard about the title. Title is absolutely critical because it can make or break an article. And often I try to make sure that the title basically summarizes the essence, the message that I want to give in the article. Again, sometimes, you have difficulties, with editors on this.